I came back from a work trip, and while I was gone, it had rained a little bit. You know how it does here in Arizona.
Yes, just enough to dirty your car.
Just enough to destroy the car. Like it was just a little bit of rain and a little bit of dust, and it just covers the car and makes it look like trash.
Right.
So last weekend, like you guys heard, we had freaking Eddie Lacy on Thursday that we were partying with at the Packers game. The party continued Friday and Saturday. Saturday we had the Halloween party. Sunday was Halloween. So I just never got the chance to get my car washed. My car was destroyed. And every time that we would get in the car that weekend, I was like, man, I need to get the car washed. No time to do it because we got to keep partying, keep going hard. And then I'm like, damn, we got to get this car washed. No time. So then Monday comes around. I have to go to work, and I didn't get a chance to get it washed. So I jumped in the car. I go to work. And when I leave work, I noticed that you had came and picked up my car and got it washed for me.
I carjacked you.
You carjacked me. You grabbed one of the spare keys and you came to my work and you picked up my car and got it washed.
My nephew and I thought about it. I'm like, oh, we didn't get a chance to get your car washed, and I am open this afternoon. So I asked Randy, I'm like, hey, you want to go with me to steal your Theo's truck? And he's like, what do you mean?
Yeah, that was really cool.
You know, so he was like, yeah. So we went and got your car washed for you. And Miguel's love language is acts of service.
Yeah. So that was something that I was like super surprised by. And it was awesome. Like I felt great when you did that. And that was something that I wanted to bring up. I mean, if you guys are new to the podcast, maybe we haven't talked about the 5 love languages in a little bit. Mm-hmm. But pretty much what the 5 love languages is the way people like to be loved. Yes. And a lot of times the way people like to be loved is the way they love others. So for me, that's acts of service. And in the beginning of our relationship, that's the way I would show Sonja that I loved her. So
let me share this. Okay. So all my friends and family, you know, they would ask, hey, what are you guys doing today? Or, you know, just asking questions about us. And I would always tell them, I'm like, he's amazing, man. He'll help with dinner. Because I'm an entrepreneur. And at that time I was running Legal Shield hard. Yeah. You know, so when I wasn't there, you would pick up, like you would, you know, when it comes to school, you would help the kids with their homework. You would throw a load of laundry in. There's times where you were cooking dinner. Like, you were just absolutely amazing. And they looked at me like, what? Like, he does what? They're like, my man won't even pick up a sock. What are you talking about? You know, so I knew I had something different. I had no idea about the love languages whatsoever. But it, you know, there was still me feel I was missing. Yeah. That affection, because I am physical touch. Yeah. So I'm like, he's amazing when it comes to that stuff, but I am starving. Now, I wouldn't tell them that, but I knew within
it was just different. Yeah.
That I didn't feel loved. Even though you were doing all these things for me, I still felt unloved. Yeah. And at times I would question myself. Is it me? Yeah. You know, and it started to build a little bit of an insecurity and lack of confidence within, because I'm like, I know I'm not bad looking. Like, I know, you know what I'm saying? But that's how females, that's what they start to think. Is he getting it somewhere else? Is he cheating? Is he seeing someone? I mean, these are the thoughts I'm letting, and this is a lot of females. Those are just the thoughts that we create. Those are the lies that we create. And you don't know what you don't know. And once it came to our attention about this 5 love languages and this and this and that, we started looking into it, and holy shit, it made so much sense. Yep. It made, because I was always all up on you. I was on you like flies on shit. And I was always doing some shit. You know? Yeah. Yeah. And so once we recognized what it was, then we started working together. Yep. And I started getting up in the morning, making you coffee, doing the little things. And, you know, it's not having to work your butt off every day, all day to fulfill
And that's
that
the
love
thing.
language.
It's not like a car wash is that. And it's not like you do it all the time. It's every once in a while. And when it happens, it's awesome. That's another thing that I was going to mention is doing things without, like, you also can't have expectations. I don't know if they talk about that in the book. They probably do. It's been a while. We got to listen to it again. But like, I've filled up your car before, and there's times when you notice it and you're like, oh, thank you. But then there's also times when you're running out of the house and maybe you're going to an appointment and you don't notice that I filled up the car. But you know what? I don't care, really. I mean, I actually don't, because I fill up the car and I don't hear anything back. And I'm like, all right, whatever. You know, and maybe sometimes I'll say something like, hey, I filled up the car for you. And you're like, oh, thanks.
Yeah.
But you didn't notice it unless I said something. And it's like, I don't care. It's the expectation that I think sometimes, like, if I fill it up, if you don't say something, you know what? That's it. I'm not fucking doing that anymore. You know what I mean? That's a bad attitude. Just do it just because.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the attitude that you need to take. And when you don't have that attitude, that's when sometimes you get your feelings hurt. But it's all about the way we perceive it, the way we take it in.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep. It's having to do that inner work.
Yeah.
You know, that inner work.
So we were talking about the different love languages. So you mentioned acts of service. There's quality touch. Right?
Physical touch.
Physical touch.
touch.
I mixed two of them up.
Time.
I do a physical touch and quality time
I could
together.
do both of those.
We could do both of them together.
Because you do. I'm getting
it?
time when you're being physical with me. So
words of affirmation.
Yes.
And did I mention gifts? I think I said gifts, right?
Yes.
So those are the different ways that people, express love. One thing that we also talked about was when you put your partner, like, the love languages were awesome for us.
They are, yes.
It was awesome to, I guess it's almost kind of like the money thing. It's almost kind of like the money thing. It's the emergency fund, the putting the $1,000 in, the getting out of debt part, like the beginning stages. It's the same thing. Like the 5 love languages is the beginning stages.
Yes.
It's what makes you aware
That's good.
that your partner needs to be loved in a different way.
Yes.
But once you've been doing it for a certain period of time,
Yes.
and once you guys have been talking about it and you've been,
Yes.
you've been growing together and all this other stuff, and you start, like we've talked about on here, putting your partner first.
Yes.
The 5 love languages, after a certain point, like, I don't even think about it. It's like you start practicing all of them.
Right. No,
it is the acts of service. It's let me get that for you.
Yes.
It's like, oh, I thought about you when I was at the store and I brought you something. Oh, you look great today. Oh, it's everything all the time.
Yes. And when you know what's so beautiful is that when you cross that point to where your communication's on point, like, you guys are one.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are one. You understand each other. You know, you're on the same level. Your love for each other, it goes to a different level. No. I made you cry. No.